Hi, my name's Jose Santos, and I'm here to talk about work permits and visas in Japan. Let's start with the cost. So there are fees for issuance of a visa. So the cost is about 3,000 yen for single entry, which is about $36 Canadian. For double entry, it would be 6,000 yen, so it would be $72 Canadian, and 700 yen for a transit visa. If you want to do a re-entry, then it would be another 3,000 yen, so another $36. So documents required. So you need to have a very recent passport photo. It must be taken within the past 6 months with a clear white background. A Japanese visa application form. A letter from your employer of how long you're staying, why you're staying there, the exact dates of what you would be doing, and the locations as well. They also want to know the expense for the entire trip. They also want to know the flight itinerary, which is basically the flight name, departure, arrival timings, and even the flight code they would need. They also require info on all accommodations. So everything you are gonna do, you have to let them know about it. Time limit to work in Japan. In Japan, it's not possible to work under labor unless your spouse has a working visa there already. They only give working visas to people with high level work and skill set. A highly skilled professional could have their visa for 5 years. Their spouse and kids could have their visa for 1, 3, or 5 years. Next question is: can a spouse, partner, common law, same sex partner work in the country? It depends on whether or not their partner has a highly skilled professional's visa or just a working visa. It's easier for the spouse of a highly skilled professionals because their application is easier. They can work up to 5 years and they can do full time work. The spouse of a working visa holder must get an offer of employment and can only work part time, a maximum of 28 hours per week, which is regulated by the Japanese government. For same sex partners and common law, it is a little bit more difficult. Historically, the Japanese Immigration Bureau has not recognized same sex partners as dependent spouses, which means they are not eligible to apply for a dependent visa. They also recommend another option for them by doing a different visa type, which is a student visa or a work visa, but those are pretty hard to obtain. For common law marriages, it's basically the same ruling. Japan only recognizes legal marriages. So the limitations or issues of working for Japan, one thing would be you still pay national taxes even if you're just there to work. Their tax there is very high. The next one would be the weather. The weather is mostly rainy, and encountering a typhoon is very common in Japan. So you always have to be careful and know where to go when those situations happen. Having to deal with the language barrier when you're not completely fluent is another limitation. This applies to a huge number of situations, not just dealing with your coworkers and staff, but people in stores, train stations, and elsewhere. Japanese isn't really the easiest language to learn, so if you're not fluent, it's a little bit tough. So another thing would be closing hours of banks, post offices, and immigration offices, etc. A lot of them are closed at either 3 or 4. So if you work past that, you may have to take half a day off. Anyways, that is my presentation on Japan work visas and work permits. Thank you for watching.